Okay, so last unit we talked about combining sentences. Um, we're going to extend our knowledge now. We're going to talk about combining sentences using prepositional phrases and verbal phrases, because the idea here with combining sentences is so that your writing sounds more academic. If it was a series of simple sentences, it sounds less academic, even though your content might be great. You want to be able to have a variety of sentences when you write. But there are some caveats to that. You have to combine them correctly. You have to combine them to get across your point, and you have to combine them using the proper grammar. Okay? So, excuse me, we looked at combining sentences in the last unit, and now we're going to keep extending that knowledge. Okay? So, a phrase. A phrase is a group of words. They function together as a unit, but they don't have a subject and a verb. So therefore, they're incomplete. I don't know why I put independent. They are dependent. Sorry. They are complete and dependent. They cannot stand on their own. One type of phrase, one type of group of words is a prepositional phrase. Prepositional phrases connect words to other elements in a sentence. Typically, it shows direction, it shows location. Words like to, in, out, on, over, above, near, between, around, under, of, and many more are prepositions. If it fits in, the squirrel ran blank the tree. Under the tree, over the tree, around the tree, between the trees, into the tree, out of the tree, near the tree, next to the tree. Okay, that's a preposition. But prepositions don't stand alone. They always work in phrases. A prepositional phrase has a preposition and the object of the preposition, which is a noun or a pronoun. To the bank. To is the preposition, the bank is the object. In the way. In is the preposition, the way is the object. Between the flowers. Between is the preposition, the flowers is the object. It could also be near him. Near is the preposition, him is the object. Okay, so once you identify prepositional phrases, your life is a little easier because you can use them to combine sentences. So if you have these three simple sentences, the large dog chased the cat and dog ran across the street, the cat went over the fence. Okay. Three simple sentences that you can combine into a better sentence using prepositional phrases. The large dog chased the cat across the street and over the fence. So across the street is a prep phrase and over the fence is a prep phrase. So you're taking those three ideas and combining them into one using prepositional phrases. Okay. Page 500 of your textbook has a list of common prepositions and common multi-word prepositions. You might want to put a paperclip there or a sticky note or something that you can use that as a reference. Prepositional phrases function like adjectives and adverbs. So they make the writing more descriptive. They make the writing more precise. They make the writing more interesting, which is really what you want when you are writing academically. Okay? All right, so this is page 501 of your textbook. I want you to pause here and read paragraph A, B, and C so that you see how the author uses prepositional phrases to combine sentences. So go ahead and hit pause. You can read it here on the screen or read it in your textbook. Okay, so do you see how using prepositional phrases can be an effective use of combining sentences? Okay, so excuse me, here's a tip about starting sentences with prep phrases. If you start a sentence with a prepositional phrase, you should follow that phrase by a comma, especially if that phrase is 3 or more words. So around the end of January, that's 2 prep phrases, right? Around the end is one, and of January is a second. So a comma goes after that. But if you have a prep phrase in the middle of a sentence, no comma. The hands on the clock, on the wall. So on the clock and on the wall are prepositional phrases in the middle of a sentence, so no commas are necessary. Okay. Another kind of phrase that you might encounter or you might want to use is a verbal phrase. And what a verbal phrase is a verb form that functions as something else. It functions as a noun, an adjective, an adverb, something other than a verb. It might have, like prepositional phrases, objects that work with it. If it has an object that works with it, it's a verbal phrase. We're going to look at 3 kinds of verbal phrases: infinitives, gerunds, and past participles. An infinitive is literally to plus a verb. To write, to sing, to dance, to love, to eat. And in this case, infinitives are used as nouns. They're the subject of the sentences. To eat the entire pizza is not a good idea. To eat is not the verb here. The verb is. And the second one, to dance the Soup Alone by Benny, required coordination. To dance is not the main verb. It's the subject of the sentence. The main verb is required. So infinitives are to plus a verb and they function as the subject. Gerund phrases, verbal phrases, are ing verbs. Finding, loving, planning, leaving. You want to make sure you spell them correctly if you are creating a gerund phrase, an infinitive, a gerund phrase. Okay? Like finding the lost keys, that's the whole gerund phrase. Planning the party, that's the whole gerund phrase. Leaving, right? So you want to make sure that you can start sentences with ings, becomes the subject, or have it as the main verb of a sentence. The last kind of verbal phrase is an EDEN phrase. It's called a past participle. Has written, will have talked, have bought, because that's a regular verb form, right? We don't say boughten. The past tense is bought. And we don't say had do, it's done. So you have to be careful with past participles, okay? Because sometimes the past tense of an irregular verb does not end in an ed or an en. So, a drain clogged with hair. She could work any shift given enough notice. The college student supported by his family. Those are past participles, ed, en, okay, past tense. And you can combine sentences using past participles, using gerunds, or using infinitives. Okay? You use them to add information or express a purpose, to name different activities you're discussing, or to replace those unclear pronouns when you're not sure what is the antecedent here? What are you talking about? Or to create variety in sentence structure. Okay, so that was a very quick overview, but I want you to go back and read these pages for comprehension, making sure you understand what a prepositional phrase is and how you can use it to combine sentences, making sure you know what an infinitive is and a gerund is and a past participle, and that you can use them to create sentence variety in your writing so that you can move towards academic sounding and correctly punctuated writing, which is the end goal, right?